Welcome to Wrestle-Gay-Nia. Oh yeah, cool wrestling voices.
I'm El Sanchez.
And I'm Val Nigro.
I love wrestling.
And I have a friend who loves wrestling.
Wrestle-Gay-Nia is your favorite queer-centric wrestling recap show.
For Jet Space Magazine.
I feel like I'm smiling too much. Like I'm going like...
That's good. People like that.
This episode we did a little bit of a retro throwback and watched the 1985 pilot for the original G.L.O.W series, which is Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Not the Netflix show, but the original wrestling show.
I thought it stood for Glorious Ladies of Wrestling, but it's gorgeous because it was written by men, so...
Whether you're familiar with G.L.O.W because of the recent Netflix series or the original show, G.L.O.W is basically a wrestling program that was created in the 80s of all-female wrestlers that was filmed at the Riviera in Las Vegas and was shown on television in certain markets. But besides being actual wrestling that happens between the characters, it's a show that definitely focuses more on the character aspect of wrestling. It's very kayfabe heavy, where it's all about the characters are the most exaggerated versions you'll see in wrestling.
In the history of wrestling.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. We also chose to watch G.L.O.W because the first time I ever showed Val wrestling when she came over to my house.
That traumatic experience that I continue to talk about in therapy every week.
Yeah. It was, in fact, why we do this show together was because Val came over and I had her watch clips of G.L.O.W on YouTube, and then she threw up.
And again, it's not clear if it was the Dominoes that we ate while watching it or if it was just the complete overwhelming wrestling content of G.L.O.W, but due to that hysterical reaction, I was lucky enough to be chosen as co-host of this little show.
Yeah, it was. I believe you called it media overload.
Yeah, so that's why I usually try to eat really light before we watch wrestling these days.
When the pilot started, Val, my favorite thing Val said, "They're women and they're short. I'm into it."
Wait, no.
Right?
I said it's short. And it's women.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Like, it's short, meaning, like, it's an hour, not, like, the women are short.
Well, I don't know what your preferences are.
The women are short. I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's obviously not short women.
Yeah. Like we mentioned, G.L.O.W exaggerates the stereotypes, the wrestling characters quite a bit more than current wrestling does, or even some of the other wrestling shows in the 80s did. It's kind of the best aspect of G.L.O.W.
Best and worst.
Well,
you might say.
Yeah, definitely worst in the sense that the ethnic stereotypes are played up pretty hard, pretty badly.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, there's like characters named like Royal Hawaiian, Spanish Red, I believe.
Americana,
which, you know, and Americana was in the episode we watched. I believe that she had an interview in which she said that she believes all American women should eat a banana split a week, preferably in red, white, blue. Which I don't know what...
What blue ice cream is she talking about?
Bubblegum, probably.
It's sadly relevant to 2017, but she literally came out of the gates yelling at Spanish Red, "Speak English!"
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. And Spanish Red made some commentary along the lines of... I didn't grow up, I don't hate America, I just hate all this apple pie stuff. Like, when I was growing up, we didn't have apple pie, we had buñuelos. Which I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm not from Spain, but same. I mean, I eat apple pie, I don't like it. I like McDonald's deep fried apple pie, that's the only kind I like.
You know, for that part, the people who wrote it were like, we have to find a Mexican to ask what do they eat?
Yeah.
Like, it's not apple pie.
I was really hoping into, like, we didn't have apple pie. We had flan. We only ate flan. I don't know about your snack packs. We only had flan. First matches, we should mention that most of the matches are tag teams. Only the last match is one-on-one. So throughout the show, they're all tag teams. But the first match is Spanish Red and Royal Hawaiian versus Americana and California Doll. They tried to frame it as sort of like, I guess, America versus America. And,
not America, but technically is America because it's Hawaii.
Yeah, because it's Hawaii. So I don't know. But I mean, I think it's largely supposed to be like white people versus not white people. But
that's always a fun one.
Yeah. And so it is fun. This is the match in which Americana talks about eating banana splits, and Spanish Red yells over and over, about how much she doesn't like America. But I love when what is it, Americana says the thing you were talking about. This is when she talks about
when she comes out of the gate screaming at Spanish Red, "Speak English!"
Oh, right. Even though Spanish Red, who I'm not sure if
was speaking English.
Yeah, was speaking English with zero accent.
Zero accent, correct.
Yeah.
It was probably better than Americana's English.
Yeah, like I think that the lady who plays Spanish Red, I'm not sure. Let's go on a limb. Not sure if she's Spanish.
Not sure.
I know. I'm not convinced. I feel like she's possibly Latina, but. She's not white. I think that's all they needed. She's like not white, so they're like, just like Royal Hawaiian. Who, I mean, she was Asian. I'm not sure if she was specifically like Pacific Islander, but they were like, whatever. Like, yeah, it's all I'm saying.
And I mean, even with Spanish Red, they said that she was from Latin America. They couldn't even say a specific country.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and California Doll, I assume is, who knows if that girl's from California.
It could just be the West Coast.
Yeah, she's probably from Minnesota. Who knows?
And then Spanish Red's tagline was, "She loves bullfights and hot sauce." Nice one. You really did your research on that one.
I think throughout this match, the best shit talker for sure was Royal Hawaiian, because when they show the match, they show them wrestling, but they'll have little, square little screens,
little squares, down here.
You know what I mean? Like the little squares,
just little side squares. I don't know what the technical term is.
They're called little side squares. They're called Lil with the side squares, and they'd be wrestling, and then down here would be like Royal Hawaiian being like, "I'm gonna smash all these ladies and stuff." Although
she thinks she's hot and she has blonde hair. Well, guess what?
Yeah, guess what? I don't. There's most of the moves in Glow from the pilot that we watched, although I did watch it sporadically growing up in clips, but not much I remember. But there's a lot of suplexing, a lot of body slams. That's the main move. A lot of arm twists and hair pulling. Next match is Sarah and Mabel versus Salt and Pepper.
Not to be confused with Salt and Peppa, the popular 90s hip-hop group.
Yeah, not Salt and Peppa.
Just Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
And Pepper.
Yeah. Sarah and Mabel, I'm not really... Their characters are sort of... I don't know, they both had like pillowcases on their heads with the eye holes. They were a little clan.
Very masked, very clan-ish.
Yeah, and they had chains. They had chains that
they came out and started whipping chains around.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's a Dungeon Master thing or a Klansman thing or both. Maybe both.
But then there was this backstory with Salt and Pepper,
right?
Regarding they're basically best friends who just get into silly fights because Salt is constantly borrowing Pepper's clothes, and then they get into silly hotel room pillow fights, as women tend to.
Right, without permission, by the way. Salt and Pepper and their beefs. They're legendary beefs.
Yeah, they're legendary. So basically, when they enter the ring, they're mad at each other.
Yeah, they're already fighting.
So they're infighting. There's infighting between Salt and Pepper, but then the clan masks come out.
Sarah and Mabel. Yeah.
And was it Mabel who referred to Salt and Pepper as Spade and Honky?
Oh, yes.
I
Salt and Pepper were choking each other, and then Sarah or Mabel, or who knows, said, "Oh, look at the Honky and the Spade." And then the racism brought Salt and Pepper together because they're like, now we need to beat these people up for being racist, so let's team up and stop being mad about you borrowing my dress without permission.
So, kind of heartwarming.
Sure, yeah. in between the match, like most of the matches, they show the interviews they have with the wrestlers, which are definitely done to sort of, they come off as like kind of Playboy Q&As where they talk about their favorite guy or in between saying how they're going to beat the shit out of their opponent, but they also swear and stuff like that. It's kind of great. But Salt in one of those in the promo said something about being, I'm 100% woman in my life or in the streets or something, and then like but I'm all animal in the ring. I don't know if the shoulder move is what she did. Something implies
she said
sexual.
It's smoother than that. Like continuing our stereotype laden evening. Was Hollywood and Vine, who are two wrestlers from the streets.
Particularly probably Hollywood and Vine.
Presumably. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
And then they were up against Tina Ferrari and Ashley, no last name given.
They were supposed to be the glam girls, and then Hollywood and Vine were supposed to be like the street
gritty
kids.
Yeah. Like they had like darker eyeshadow. I think what were the main differences?
They had that spray and hair color, that you can get when you do like 80s theme parties.
They were like mall punks, and then Tina and Ashley were kind of like corporate money.
Yeah, they were like beauty queens.
Highlights from the match. First of all, way too much screaming, and not just like regular sports screaming, but like, as you said, bloody murder screaming.
Oh yeah,
like women in peril screaming. Which again,
they had Hollywood and Vine had someone pressed against some pole. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Someone touched some pole.
There was a pole. It was pressed. But the screaming that the wrestlers were making, it was disturbing to listen to.
It was triggering.
It was like I can't. Let's not. It wasn't like I'm being hurt. It was like oh my god.
It was scary. So it was mostly a lot of screaming and hair pulling.
A lot of screaming. My favorite move of this match was what Val and I decided was the 4-way scissor.
And it was, objectively speaking, not just because we're gay that we're saying.
Yeah, we're not biased. The 4-way scissor was kind of like, so Hollywood, so like, I'm not sure how to, like, it's like Hollywood and Vine, they got on the sides of the two ladies and grabbed their legs and pulled them out, and then they would do like push-ups. Like, I can't do it.
We have to both do it because it was a 4.
Yeah, it was like,
can the audience see this?
It's like this, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, try it at home.
Like that. Like, the other part that was really cool was that Tina and Ashley had an actual choreographed dance that could have been from a really cool 80s jazzercise video.
It was cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. I don't know. I guess they didn't give the street kids their own dance. They just kind of... What did they do?
They didn't, they don't have choreographed dances because that's too corporate. They're never in sync. That's the point. The last match of the show, the highlight, if you will, the main event, as they might say, was Matilda the Hun versus Tammy Jones. And Matilda Hun, the person we talked about earlier, is really tall lady. She was actually the woman who played her was a real life wrestler. Because a lot of the people who were in G.L.O.W were actually actors, that became wrestlers because of being in the show. But some of them wrestled previously, and Matilda Hun is someone who did. She's actually known for having wrestled a real life bear in real life.
And the fun side note: are you going to tell them about your crush?
Oh, yeah. And I have had a crush on her since I was a child. She also used to eat raw meat in the ring, like on G.L.O.W. They'd bring out like this big chunk of meat and she would chew on it. She's great. She also opens before she gets in the ring. She has a rap that she does where it's just her talking about, I like raw meat. And then the audience goes, raw meat, raw meat.
You love a chant.
It's great. I do love a good chant. It's the best. Tammy Jones, on the other hand, is the opposite of Matilda the Hun in the sense that I think she's supposed to be a literal baby.
She's literally a giant baby who prays. Like, that's her thing. She's a baby, like an adult baby who just prays a lot.
She's like a Precious Moments doll come to life. If you guys remember those.
Little born again baby.
Like one of those magnetized little like
with the hands.
Porcelain dolls. Magnet their praying hands together. That's what she's like. She has pigtails. She wears a candy necklace. She has dimples. She talks like a baby for some reason. Like she's like, "Oh, I'm Tammy, yo." And then when she gets in the ring before they start wrestling, she goes down and does a prayer.
She does in fact pray.
Yeah. But and then
very Tim Tebow before her turn.
Tammy Jones, the original Tim Tebow of Glow. Beginning of this match, actually the beginning of the whole show had some intro to this match where they showed Tammy just getting back from the hospital and kind of ushered into the building that they filmed Glow at with some of the wrestlers. The wrestlers in Glow were separated in good girls and bad girls, and Tammy's in the good girls section. So she's coming in with some of the good girl wrestlers because she just got back from the hospital because, as the announcer said, her brother, little Johnny, had been in the hospital.
There was an accident.
And he couldn't walk. And she'd been praying that he'd be okay.
She was very distraught, so she was, in lieu of Western medicine, was praying very hard for him.
And Matilda was mocking this fact. Mocking the poor, unfortunate situation of little Johnny. Because she has no heart. And
I wish she was eating raw meat, now that you told me that. Like, just, like, eating it like beef jerky while mocking the little baby. Whose brother couldn't walk again. So what happened during the match is that while basically Matilda was storming around and Tammy jumped onto her and was clinging to her like a little baby.
Sure. And Matilda, well, prior to that, Matilda had been like kind of just beating the shit out of Tammy pretty bad.
Yeah, like hard.
They called it the colossal mismatch, the announcer did, which makes sense because Matilda is probably like 6'3" and Tammy's really tiny. And so Matilda's kind of just throwing around like the Precious Moments doll she is.
Like a rag doll.
Yeah, like a rag doll. And then at some point, classic hero arc, Tammy sees in the distance.
The middle distance.
The middle distance. What is that? Oh, it's her brother, little Johnny.
Little Johnny.
He's on crutches. He can walk again. The Lord works in mysterious ways. And the
God
Lord
is good, y'all.
God's good. And God wants you to win this match, Tammy. And so the little brother gives her the thumbs up.
On his crutches.
He's like, you can do this,
little tiny Tim moment. Yeah.
Do this for Jesus. And she's like, I feel inspired. And so then she gets up off the match.
She's filled with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. And she gets off the match and then she jumps on Matilda the Hun, like in a piggyback style. And it's like, but like full front, like in front of her, like bear hugging her. And then
it's what babies do.
Yeah, and then they start kind of turning in a circle. And what happens is apparently Tammy is biting Matilda's nose.
Looked a lot like making out.
It absolutely looked like them making out.
Like making out hard and long.
They were holding each other's faces. They were like doing a full-on romantic face hold thing and a lot of this, and I'm sure it accidentally looked like they were making out.
Oops. And then she makes out her way to victory.
Oh my God.
She kisses her way to victory.
Yeah, Tammy wins the Glow crown and a dozen roses.
And the crown, I didn't even notice she got a crown because the crown maybe they had a low budget for the crown. And I doubt there were a full dozen roses. It only looked like 8 or 9.
Well, they conveniently filmed the crowning from very far away.
Yeah.
So you could only see the little bit of glitter on the crown. And I think it's because it was a really cheap crown. It looked like one of those fake, shiny gold birthday paper crowns you get. But Tammy won the crown. And then the end of Glow is just all the wrestlers coming out and wrestling each other, the free-for-all, because they all wanted the crown.
Which is cute. It's kind of like at the end of SNL when they all come out and
do their bows.
They kind of just sway a little bit, but in this case, they were all beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
And making out or not. Unclear.
Unclear.
Yeah. Unclear from this angle.
Yeah. Val's homework this episode is to tell y'all what happened to little Johnny. What accident did little Johnny Jones.
Poor little Johnny.
Poor little Johnny Jones. What happened to him that he had to go to the hospital and be saved by Jesus?
A harsh fate for anyone.
Right.
Well, I think what happened with little Johnny is that him and Tammy were doing backyard wrestling to practice for the match. And little Johnny doesn't know how to wrestle, and Tammy doesn't really either because she's just an actor who just learned how to wrestle 2 days ago. So I think there was a tragic backyard wrestling accident, and that she's so consumed with guilt that she converts to Christianity, and B, has to spend the rest of her life just wrestling and praying until he is able to walk.
What a fate. Wrestling and praying.
Yeah. So I think that's what it was, and it worked.
Do you think I could get a bumper sticker that said, "My other car is wrestling and praying"? or wrestle and pray the gay away. Oh yeah, I'd rather be wrestling and praying right now. My conspiracy theory for the pilot of G.L.O.W is I don't think any of the wrestlers actually wore leotards. I think most of them were just one-piece swimsuits. And the conspiracy theory part of that, which I think is actually factual and not in any way a conspiracy, is that
it's just a theory. It's not even a theory. It's just
it's just fact, like evolution or whatever. It's theory, used that phrase loosely, but the idea is I don't know what I'm trying to. The crotch part of these one-piece swimsuits,
very high cut,
which is because of the 80s. They have that high hip bone cut, but the thing is, there's not a lot of coverage and what you may or may not consider your private parts in this area. I mean,
they were not private.
They were no longer private. Specifically, the first match with Americana and California Doll. California Doll is wearing this snow leopard like leotards, but it's a swimsuit. Yeah. It's a swimsuit. And when she's on her back getting her hair pulled and stuff, there's this clear scene in which the crotchal part,
the lips
of the swimsuit pull, and her labes are full on in display, like her full on major labes. That's labia majora. Yeah.
Not
the
minora.
The mage labes, as they're known. Labes mage is, that's a good name for a band.
For a band.
Labes mage. Her labes mage are just out there, out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she intended that. I feel like the wardrobe department did. Not cool.
So in conclusion, what G.L.O.W really stands for is gorgeous labias of wrestling.
Yeah. Thank you for watching another exciting episode of
Wrestle-Gay-Nia. We're getting good at that.
We are getting really good at that.
And make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Be sure to tune into the next episode when Val and I recap the upcoming WWE pay-per-view, No Mercy.
Which is what you have on me when we're watching wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I've been Elle Sanchez.
And I've been Val Nigro. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.
Oh, and then he comes out the end.
What should we not be mocking?
No, I thought I was like laughing. I was like that we're laughing that he couldn't walk again.
It's not real.
I know. I know, but it's just...
Okay.
How dare you say that? Listen, WWE is fake, but G.L.O.W is 100% real. 100%.